currently 20 years old and he listens to you since he's 11. So he wants to say thank you because he knew the progressive rock style of music from you, by listening to you. So it's very important for him, and he feels very fortunate to be here with you today. The question is, which is the song in any of the albums that you consider most personal? That you have added a lot of your personal situations or emotions, or okay. And Aaron, he saw your work in Octavarium, the orchestra, and he says that you're great. So he wants to congratulate you.
Thank you very much. Very nice of you. I hear keyboards. Who is that? There's an imposter. Another imposter. Yeah. For me, one of the most personal songs for me is "Take Away My Pain." I wrote that when my father unfortunately was dying, and I wrote it in the hospital for him. So. It's a very personal song.
Para John, perdón. Uno de los temas que más emoción, que más elementos personales tiene es Take Away My Pain. Lo escribió en el hospital mientras su padre estaba falleciendo, así que es el que más tiene elementos personales.
For me, rather than pointing to a specific song, I want to point to a specific album and the way that it came about, which I thought was very special. And that is the 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence album, which was the second album that I did with Dream Theater. I can vividly remember being out in the live room of the studio with my keyboard, and John came out, and you know, he said to me, "Okay, Jordan," he said, "play the most beautiful love theme you can possibly think of." I said, "Okay." So I played, and we were, recording. So I played something, and then he said, "Okay, good." He said, "Now play." But like a really glorious, play something really epic and glorious. So I played something really epic and glorious, and I said, play some kind of like a brassy, fanfare thing. So we went through about 4 or 5 different things. He said, "Okay, so now we have all the themes for the album. Now let's go write the album now."
That's the human computer thing I was talking about. That's when I first discovered it.
Bueno, Jordan lo que dice es que no hay una canción, sino que un álbum que es 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, que la forma en que nació fue muy especial, que recuerda estar en el estudio con el teclado, estaban a punto de grabar y entra John y le dice, toca una melodía que sea llena de amor, lo más amoroso posible, y bueno, se inspiró y lo hizo y estaban grabando, y después le dice, bueno, ahora toca algo con estilo épico y glorioso, y se volcó a lo épico y glorioso, y así sucesivamente, pasando por un montón de estilos y de emociones a través de la música. Y lo que dice John es, a eso me refería antes cuando decía que era una computadora humana de estilos musicales, ¿no?
Bueno, okay. Ahora vamos, chicos, vamos a tratar de llegar a todos.
Your guitar.
Hola, primero quiero darle las gracias por esta invitación. Su música es súper especial para mí, todos estos años que estuve escuchándola y estudiando. Quería pedirles que dieran un consejo a todos de todo lo que está pasando en el mundo, tanta gente que quiere dedicarse a la música, tan complicado que, no es nada fácil, ¿ok? ¿Cuál es el consejo para todas esas personas que quieren dedicarse como es, a pesar de todas las situaciones que están ocurriendo?
he says thank you very much, that your music is very special for him. And he asks a piece of advice from you. What would you say to all the people that want to dedicate to creating and playing music or want to be musician? Because it's very, as you know, usually it's very difficult to get there. So which would be your best piece of advice to give to those that want to do that or that aspire to be a musician?
What do you play? What instrument do you play? Oh, give up. I'm joking, of course. That's awesome. You know what? I think that there's always the next generation of musicians and players that are going to rise up and make a career out of this. You know, I was born in a small suburban town in New York, and nobody in my family were musicians really. I didn't grow up in a musical household, and I had this crazy idea I wanted to play guitar. And you know, you get people saying, "Oh, you should get a real job, and you need something to fall back on." But I kind of just proved that if you have an idea and you believe in yourself and you work hard, that you can do it. So I try to instill that in all my kids. And now my household is very musical. My wife is a guitar player, and all my kids are musicians and actresses and singers and songwriters and everything. And kind of the example was that this is possible. You can do it. You don't have to have, you know, a job that you're unhappy with or a career that you're unhappy with. So believe in yourself, work hard, be creative, and a little bit of luck in there as well.
Bueno, lo que dice John es que creo que siempre hay una siguiente generación de músicos que siempre surge para mejorar a los que ya están o seguir el camino de los que ya están. Él creció en los suburbios de Nueva York y no justamente en una casa de músicos, sino todo lo contrario. Y siempre escuchaba la misma frase, la misma leyenda de conseguir un trabajo de verdad. Lo que él aconseja es que hay que creer en uno mismo, trabajar duro y con esfuerzo todo se logra. Hoy en día su casa está, sus hijos y su mujer son todos músicos o cantantes o actores o actrices. Pero que bueno, que a fin de cuentas es creer en uno mismo, trabajar duro y ser creativo. Y sí, una dosis de suerte siempre nos ayuda, ¿no? Pero bueno, lo importante está que uno le ponga todo el esfuerzo.
Bueno, acá el muchacho de campera negra.
Hola, primero que nada, agradecerles porque yo hace 20 años que soy músico y han abierto absolutamente mi cabeza de la primera vez que lo escuché hace casi 15 años. Y quería agradecérselos. Mi pregunta es, ¿qué bandas argentinas escucharon, si que escucharon? Y bueno, y luego si quieren. Gracias.
Okay, he wants to say thank you very much. He's been playing music for 20 years by now, and he's grateful because you have opened his mind for new music styles. So, and he wants to know if you have heard or listened to any Argentinian bands, and what do you think of them, if so?
Why do you have to ask such tough questions? We were just talking about, when I was at lunch yesterday, we were talking about that amazing accordionist composer. Who I've heard, who my neighbor would play Piazzolla's music, and I would always say to him, "What is that? That's so amazing, it's crazy." So that was the Argentinian music that I heard. I thought was really, really interesting and cool. But as far as the Argentinian bands, I don't know.
No, I don't.
No. I'm embarrassed to say we don't really know.
We have to hear your band.
Ok, Jordan acaba de decir que ayer en el almuerzo estábamos justamente hablando de Astor Piazzolla, que es lo único que escuchó en referencia a música argentina y que obviamente le parece un maestro y parece que es algo muy interesante y genial. pero que no, que por ahora no escucharon nada y que están esperando escuchar tu banda, así que...
Igual, es música hardcore, hardcore. No tiene nada que ver con hardcore.
Bueno, seguimos por acá.
Hola chicos, soy Agustina y si tuviera que ponerme a agradecerles estaríamos acá todo el día, varias semanas, por todo lo que significa su música para mí. Entonces, mi pregunta es, yo sé que les gusta mucho Pink Floyd, así que me gustaría saber cuál es su miembro favorito de la banda. Y si llegan a hacer una obra teatral de Astonishing, ténganme en cuenta para algún papel. Gracias.
Okay, she's Agustina. She also wants to thank you very much for your music. She knows that you're you're a Pink Floyd fan, and she wants to know which is your favorite Pink Floyd member. And also that if you do a theatrical work for The Astonishing, so she will give you her CV so that you can count on her. Okay.
Yeah, I think that Pink Floyd has been a large inspiration for all of us. Personally, I think my favorite Pink Floyd album is Dark Side of the Moon. An album that really inspired us when we were creating The Astonishing. One of the things we looked at was The Wall, because it's such a classic big concept album.
Well, for me, Roger Waters would be my favorite. I mean, it's hard to say that not David Gilmour, because he's a guitar player, but Roger as a writer, being that he wrote The Wall and everything, I'm just amazed at his talent as a writer. It's unbelievable. Are you an actress? My daughters are in line first. For any position in The Astonishing, but soon after that. Thank you very much.
And the other part about this, my daughter will be casting the show.
Right, she's a casting.
They'll have to send everything to her.
Sí, por supuesto, Pink Floyd es una gran inspiración y lo es para muchos músicos, no solo para ellos. Para Jordan, su álbum favorito es Dark Side of the Moon y se inspiraron mucho en Dark Side of the Moon para su trabajo. Y para John, si tiene que elegir a uno de los miembros, si bien es difícil no elegirlo a David Gilmour porque es un guitarrista, su preferido es Roger Waters porque realmente es un genio con todo el trabajo que hizo en The Wall, es hiper talentoso. Y también que lamentablemente si fuesen a hacer una obra de teatro, la hija es actriz, así que primero va la hija y después ven qué hace.
Just one other thing about that, the story of The Astonishing and what we're planning on doing with it is not only the album and the live show, but there's also a game, a mobile game that's being developed. There's a novel that's being written as well, which we haven't really announced yet. And one of the ideas I had was to make it a musical the way that Tommy did with the way that The Who did with Tommy, or Green Day did with American Idiot. Those concept albums made it onto Broadway, so that is something that we are working towards and would love to do. That's one of those kind of lofty goals, but I think this would be the perfect thing. It would certainly be very different, but Broadway's moving in some way into more like rock and things like that. So it may be possible.
You have to believe.
You have to believe.
Bueno, en The Astonishing el trabajo que hicieron no solo fue obviamente el álbum y para después hacer los shows en vivo, sino que se está desarrollando un juego a partir del álbum y una novela. Y la idea es que en algún momento sea un musical, como lo fue The Who con Tommy. Así que no lo veo muy difícil porque Broadway está incorporando más esos géneros de rock, así que quizás sea posible de que algún día lo veamos como musical.
Excelente. Allá el muchacho me había pedido antes.
Hola, John. Hola, Jordan. Es un placer recibirlos otra vez acá en Argentina. Los sigo hace muchos años. Cada vez que vinieron acá a Suelo Argentino estuve cerca de ustedes en todos los shows. Y mi pregunta básicamente es para John, si su guitarra, su Ernie Ball Music Man, está preparada para tocar de 8 o 9 cuerdas, si tiene algún modelo especial y si ha incursionado en el estilo Djent Music. Muchas gracias.
Yes.
Okay, he also wants to thank you. It's a pleasure having you here. He listens to your music since many years ago, and he always comes to your shows when he has the chance. John, the question is to you. He wants to know if your guitar is of 8 or 9 strings, or something special with your guitar, and if you have ever played Djent style. Djent. Thank you. You have to apologize. I apologize.
Well, let's see. Did you know that my nephew, Jake, is in Periphery, and they are the leaders in Djent style?
Very sad.
So it's in the family blood. But it's funny when those guys were talking about that style and the sound that the guitar made and the whole Meshuggah thing, where that came from. They had like a different word for it when I was growing up. What did we call it? It wasn't like, it was an imitation of the guitar sound, you know? I don't remember. Yeah. It's a sound that guitar makes when you chunk down. But anyway, my guitars are 6-string and 7-string as well, and they're all Music Man guitars. They're all my signature guitars. They're very, very special. Actually, I play it during the show. For most of the show, you'll see it. A very special model. It's called the Majesty, and it was named after the original name of the group. And it's a really cool, innovative guitar design. And you'll see me playing that tonight. The 6 and 7-string.
Su sobrino es líder en Djent Style y que les resultaba muy gracioso escucharlos hablar o incluso tocar, porque la guitarra hace un sonido bastante particular. Sí, que dijo que antes le ponían un apodo, pero no recuerda cómo, pero que bueno, que parecía que te estabas ahogando con la guitarra o algo así. Su guitarra tiene de 6 a 7 cuerdas. Y que durante el show por lo general usa una que el modelo se llama The Majesty, y hoy la va a estar usando, que le parece que es una muy buena guitarra, así que hoy lo vas a ver con esa guitarra.
Excelente.
Hi guys. Happy to see you here. I've been listening to your music since I was like 12 years old. I'm 30, so that's like more than half of my life. This will be my sixth time to see you perform here. My question is, ellos estuvieron antes de lanzar el disco haciendo The Astonishing en vivo, y mi pregunta es cómo vivieron eso, no desde el lado de uy, cómo van a tomar el disco, sino si quizás volvieron un poco tipo back to roots, flashback de cuando iniciaron, de que no sabían qué iba a esperar o qué se iba a esperar el público.
Okay. Her question is, before you launched the last album, The Astonishing, you were playing it live. So she wants to know if you like went back to roots as before, and because the public didn't know what to expect. So that's her question.
I'm not sure I understand that.
Pasa que estuvieron tocando en Europa, Estados Unidos, entonces por
No
ahí.
es lo que esperaban del disco, sino como cuando antes ni siquiera te conocían, cuando recién empezaban a tocar, que nadie te como cuando vas a ver una banda de un amigo y no sabes qué onda.
Vos podés.
No, no, por problema.
Sintieron que